Relationship building is central. You form bonds with villagers, travelers, and your dragon companion, whose magical abilities enhance daily life and provide whimsical interactions. Customization is robust, letting players decorate the tavern, personalize their character's appearance and outfits, and outfit their dragon or other pets. The visuals are warm, magical, and inviting, combining a seaside fantasy aesthetic with storybook charm. While the full PC version launched in September 2025, a Nintendo Switch version is planned, though a release date has not yet been announced. Pokemon Pokopia is set to release on Nintendo Switch 2 on March 5th, 2026, offering a relaxing and whimsical experience for Pokemon fans. Players take on the role of a Ditto transformed into a human, tasked with restoring a neglected land into a thriving paradise for Pokemon. The core gameplay combines crafting, building, and farming. You collect materials like wood, rocks, and berries, grow vegetables, craft furniture, and design homes for a variety of Pokemon to inhabit. Each Pokemon contributes in unique ways as you can learn moves from them, using Bulbasaur's abilities to help plants grow or Squirtle's water gun to water crops, adding playful and magical elements to everyday tasks. The game features a dynamic day-night cycle and changing weather that enhances the immersive, cozy atmosphere. Multiplayer supports up to 4 players, allowing friends to collaborate in building and expanding the shared paradise. Customization is robust, letting players design their character's appearance, outfit homes, and decorate interiors to reflect personal style. With its soft, inviting visual style, slow-paced gameplay, and emphasis on nurturing relationships and creating a lively Pokemon community, Pokemon Pokopia blends crafting, exploration, and gentle social interaction into a soothing and heartwarming adventure ideal for Nintendo Switch 2 players seeking a magical, low-pressure, cozy experience.
Teach you their signature moves. Use the moves you learn to refresh the land. Clear paths. Till fields. Grow vegetables. And more. Expanding the places you can visit and what you can achieve.
Witchbook, with release expected in 2026, blends magical school life, crafting, and social interaction in a charming seaside town. Players take on the role of a witch in training enrolled at Witchbook College, attending classes to learn spells, brewing potions, and exploring nearby forests to gather ingredients. Between lessons, the game emphasizes relaxing activities such as customizing your wooden cottage, tending a garden, crafting items, and completing errands for townsfolk, giving a soothing, low-pressure loop. Social interaction is a key feature. Players can build friendships, forge potential romances, and interact with a diverse cast of characters, creating a warm, connected community. The game supports up to 4-player online co-op, allowing friends to explore, craft, and share Witchbrook's magical world together. Character and home customization are deep, letting players personalize appearance, clothing, accessories, and living spaces to reflect their style. The visuals are cozy, with pixel art charm, soft colors, and a warm, magical atmosphere that reinforces the game's relaxing tone. Witchbrook combines magical exploration, life sim management, and gentle social mechanics into a heartwarming experience, making it an ideal cozy adventure for Nintendo Switch players who enjoy immersive, low-stress gameplay in a fantastical school setting. Top 30 upcoming cozy games for Nintendo Switch in 2025 and 2026. Whether you're into farming sims, life sims, or just games where you can relax and take your time, there's something here for everyone. Which game are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
PoE, oh boy, oh boy. We had some real clown shit going on in this game. Oh my god. I cannot believe how ridiculous this situation has been. I cannot believe it.
Oh boy, alright, so half the right now too.
Yeah.
The reviews are in. Good news is they're looking quite positive. Early impressions confirming our suspicion that this could be the best ARPG of all time. Bad news though is that not everyone's happy if those even exist, let alone there are people out there already playing.
People are mad about review. Who the fuck gets mad about review codes?
Game.
So I know what it is. They probably think that they're playing the game really on the same server, so they're gonna have like an economic advantage. No, they're completely separate servers.
Earlier today, the first Path of XL2 review was released.
People might not know that.
In the 15-minute video, he said quite a few interesting things about the game. Here are some of the highlights. He referred to PoE2 as the, quote, Dark Souls of ARPG.
Swifter.
He's right. It's a meme, but he is in fact right.
Right?
Yes.
Dark Souls will be with us forever. Now,
That's
mainly
right.
here he was referring to the fact that the game is like
No, you can. The reason why it's like Dark Souls is because it's rolling. If a game has rolling, it's a Souls game.
options picked from, and even playing through the campaign as it was.
Yeah, you thought Diablo was a Diablo-like? It's actually a
Soul
Souls
player
player.
that you found quite rewarding to overcome, and that the game gave him a sense of wrestling in terms of its difficulty.
I literally think I tried it on the release of PoE. I am going to allow chat to decide whether it's Twitch or the wall. I'm gonna let you guys because I can't trust myself to make a decision. Opinions talk. Well, no, you guys you know. Are you
Your
sure? I am.
bottom tower is under
And
attack.
also I want to say that I'm going to fill out the paperwork for getting partnered tonight. So I can hopefully get the 2-pet thing for like the Twitch drops and everything for the release of PoE 2. You said that last night? Yeah, I said I'd do it either tonight or tomorrow. Last night I had like a meeting with my moderators. I thought about that later. Anyway, yes, I'm gonna play one of these.
Large, estimating it takes a full hour to go from side to side. That sounds crazy, but we'll see. He also mentions that there was discovery mode playing, discovering the floor, finding enemies. What I absolutely love
This is
was
one thing that I really hope that they have in the campaign. One thing I really love about games is when they have a really hard boss that you're supposed to go back to and fight, but if you're a very skilled player, you can beat them early. Genichiro, even though it's like not really like that in Sekiro, then you also have things like, I think the best example is Treason in Elden Ring.
that with the amount and variety of content, it feels like 3 games rolled into one. Like you see, the campaign he estimates was about 35 to 40 hours.
As we're going
And he mentioned that feeling like he just scratched the tiniest surface offer after spending 40
This is
hours
just
with
so
it, potentially
fucking
saying that this could be the all-time king of the genre. He also mentioned that it feels like there are limitless combinations of builds that make it much easier than it has been in the past. He thought the dark theme and overall art direction was outstanding and clearly inspired by Dota 2. He thought it was the most dynamic.
I'm actually curious, like, and this is kind of an open question, and I was looking at that path of, like, the build path. Do you guys think that you should be able to get, like, a song that should allow you to, like, copy somebody's build if the person provides it? Because I feel like maybe that'd be good to get more
Your
casual players
bottom
in.
tower has fallen.
You can't do that? Yeah, that'd be neat. Yeah, maybe I should maybe see that. Yeah, because I think that's the thing, like, the gap between, like, hardcore players and casual players. Because, like, the biggest challenge that I think PoE 2 has is how to keep Elon Musk playing the game when he's really busy. Or how to keep, you know, anybody who has, like, a bunch of kids and a wife and a family, right? How can I keep them engaged? That's the real challenge.
Radiant
Like,
structures
obviously,
are
us, like, elite gamer wizards, you know,
Gingers,
unemployed,
you
or
can
maybe playing video games all day. It's not gonna be the deal, like, hitting that casual audience, man. And, like, you're seeing, like, for example, like, Monster Hunter and Elden Ring do the same thing. Like, Wilds is doing the same thing, and Elden Ring is the same thing. To, like, grow the audience of the game by, like, steps. So I think you should do that. Player make a template build to really help casuals. Yeah, I actually might send that to GGG.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Of course. Ever played, you can also talk about the details on the skill.
You know what's actually crazy is that I probably won't even have to tell them, because I've had people from GGG message me because they watched my videos talking about the game. They probably might have already seen it. By the time yeah. Like, they pay a lot of close attention to these videos. They genuinely do.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It's Nova!
Oh no!
Better than Diablo
No!
4. Now there were some negatives mentioned, including
No!
Why is it also shutting down? It's Nova!
Daw, kani daw.
It's
Now
Nova!
that said, we wrap it all up by saying that he strongly believes PoE2 will cement Studio as one of the all-time greats among the likes of FromSoft Valerian. Now, I would argue that GGG is already there, just with PoE1, but that's...
I think they are, and it's just that,
Oh
like,
no!
Larian had such a breakout success
Sama
with
naman ganahan.
Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to be really hard.
Sama
I don't
ganahan.
think PoE can meet that success because, in a weird, ironic way, I actually think turn-based makes the game way more accessible. But I think that they can be like one of those studios, because, like, it's like a studio that gets like one game, right? They're making one game, but this is, I think it will be transcendent.
You know what? All of this sounds great to me. I am so happy to hear that the game actually goes nicely. So what exactly is the problem then? Well, there's two main things happening here. One is that the review was posted way prior to embargo. Number two, that everyone was under the impression that there would be no early access prior to the early access public.
Of course they give review copies. Like Force. How the fuck do you think Force was able to release a guide for a video? I played Avowed, these are my reviews. Because you got a fucking review copy. That's what you do. And it's for your best interest. Review copies are not there to help, like, oh yeah, we just want to give the reviewers the ability to play the game because they're better than you. No. The review copies are there to serve a purpose to you, the customer, to better inform you on how to make a purchasing decision with your money. You want them to do that. Because, like, what if the game, like, not this one, but what if it's Veilguard, right? Or something like that, and the game isn't that good? Reviewers to give them a copy ahead of time so they can say, hey, don't spend your $60. It's not ready. Of course you have them. It's so delusional. Review copies for early access? No. It's a separate server. So, like, you're playing on an internal testing build, and, like, I've done this before, I know this. Like, you're playing with other people that are, like, employees of GGG, like friends and family. Like, you're not, it's not connected to the actual game that gets reset. It's like a separate PTO. It's a death zone prior
to that December 6th release. Those weren't I'll tell you, the media of the video is sponsored by Light of Montreal. I have a video. I have a video about this fucking game. Where is it? It has 994. It's gonna hit 1 million viewers. I didn't get any fucking. They didn't pay me for this shit, and they're already paying him. How did this happen? This is such bullshit. See, look, I'm
is an
I'm a
open
brand
world of
risk.
survival.
Yeah, they were making a lot of money because everybody's acting like a fucking idiot. I'll make a whole video about it. It's gonna fuck, man.
Yeah.
Crafting game with actual survival world.
The only risk they're gonna have is their servers running.
Medieval landscapes.
Already moving.
Secrets, exploring world.
I should stop like
World where you can traverse islands, deserts, forests, and mountains.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Maybe they were unhappy because I said that every single attack that the bosses did was copied directly from the learning. I'm right.
Abilities. Fighting alongside you are the mech animals, over 100 to collect. Each
This is the Fallen Star Beast.
roles they fulfill, aiding the battle.
As you wish.
Crafting mechanics and injury. Weather you'll have to protect against. And co-op gameplay as a group with other players anytime hunting beasts, gathering resources. If you'd like to learn more, you can attacking again. Check out Light's mod on yourself using the link in the description below.
Alright, so let's get into the major issue. They broke the embargo and they posted the review early. They made a mistake, but it turns out that they didn't make a mistake. POE said they made a mistake.
In the only outlet, we got review codes.
Yeah, they just made a mistake.
Posted far
Miscommunication.
prior to the actual embargo. Now, after not too long, Spectral Life did take their video down. It was self-removed, and as of this recording, it is no longer available for viewing. You can also check the review yourself. Now, everyone was quick to blame them for breaking embargo because, of course, right, this is not a good thing.
And also, M Extra Life has a bad reputation, especially among streamers because of the way that they did embedding. So, like, they're, like, prime, like, people are ready, bro. They've already got 5 stacks of Sunder Armor on them. People are ready to attack.
To be doing it. But apparently the fault lies with the developers running their games. They said themselves on Twitter, there was a miscommunication with Spectral Life that resulted in a video being posted early. This was a mistake on our end, and now I was seeing
Mistake
speculation that the developer might be they're lying about it being their fault, so as to save Spectral other outlets break embargo. Like, why was it only Spectral Life who broke embargo? They all got the same embargo. Like, so that sounds simple, right? But surprise, things are rarely as simple as they sound. As someone who has done quite a few reviews and previews in the past when it comes to embargoes, I can tell you the process looks different all the time, and it can often be quite a bit messy. So sometimes you get all of the info, the embargo timing, basic details in the game, the installation and review guides, all of it comes nicely in a package in a pre-made PDF. Everyone gets the same PDF with all the same info, easy, right? Like no confusion to be had. Sometimes that happens. Other times, it's just a literal email from some contact out the company that says, hey, here's the game code, embargo lifts at such and such a time on such and such a day, let us know if you have any questions, and then that's it. It's literally just an email that somebody sent with a couple of lines of info, and many times this will be like a back and forth conversation, and then reading the code, and then saying embargo help later, and then sending the embargo, and this process is very wildly. And then you have communications because the third party could misunderstand what the publisher is telling them, or they could misinterpret what that is and then send the wrong thing to the reviewer. Find that a lot of times this process is handled by a third party. So it's not even a media contact or someone who actually works at the
there it is. Sometimes developers will hire agencies to do all of the back. A great example of this going wrong is Black with Wukong. Do you remember when people were getting like things that were saying like don't talk about certain social issues while you're playing the game? Of course. That was because it probably came directly from the publisher. Because those are the rules that China has set, because China has certain speech regulations that they ask people to follow when certain games are being released. Because they're assuming it's going to a Chinese audience.
The enemy top tower
Reviews. The point is, it is very possible that yes, somebody actually made a mistake when sharing the review info with Vextralife. And this isn't me trying to build a case to defend them. I'm just letting people know this stuff can often be like way more casual and messy than you would assume. It is absolutely possible that somebody just screwed up, they gave them the wrong day, they accidentally made mistakes happen. Like, big time mistakes happen all the time. Really? People fumble in the Super Bowl. Big mistakes. Time zone. Mistakes like this happen somewhat frequently. In fact, I can tell you I've been sent Now, fortunately, those were all corrected prior to the mistake, either because I decided to double check to make sure that the information was accurate, or because they send a follow-up email that says, hey, we made a mistake, the embargo is actually at this specific time and day instead. Now, of course, I don't know exactly what happened in this particular situation, we're all just guessing, but I do believe grinding their game. Like, I don't think they're lying about this being their fault. It's ridiculous to say that they're save the ass of a shitty fucking reviewer. Like, it's such a stupid thing. Like, the only people that think that on like, I guarantee you there's so many other people in my opinion, I think GGB gives them weight. They give them weight. Like, some of them that are crazy I feel there. It's like if the league, if the servers go down to the league for 2 hours, you guarantee every
Did you not?
And frankly, it's ridiculous to think that they could have just not said it. They took the video down, they could have just ignored it, but they made a whole big post about it, I think because it was their fault. There's really no sense in them lying to cover Vextralife's butt. When somebody breaks into our what happened, exactly. So I've never seen this happen. Maybe this is the first time, right? But anyways, that was the biggest issue that people have right now. Exactly, yeah. This is, by the way, FX Droid wasn't wrong in this circumstance. This video is here we go. This isn't the main reason. The embargo, right? All right. The main reason that a lot of people are really upset with this is the fact that pre-launch review codes aren't even method. Might already have access to the early access version of Path of Exile 2. To clarify, some traditional game media have been given access to a review version of the game. Part of the stipulation that media were given is that this is for review purposes only. They may share their opinions of the game, but are not allowed to produce guides. Content from this version. That's important. Keep that part. Separate spoilers about the game or just unedited playthroughs. They are not playing on the same servers as the early access version, so none of the spoilers. Embargoed until the early access on December 6th, so no content is supposed to be posted until then. And when they said, sorry, it's not
their fault and ours. And then they wrap up by saying, on release day, we want players to be able to make a more informed choice about in-depth gameplay. We believe that allowing traditional game media access should be able to accomplish this without spoiling the game. And it is, and it will happen all the time. Elden Ring did the same thing. Body Video got an early copy of Elden Ring. A lot of people got early copies of Elden Ring. You know who else got an early copy of Elden Ring?
I
did. Did I play it? Absolutely not. But I did get an. I technically got an early copy because of a retro event that I participated in. That's how I was able to play the game. And it was theoretically like the version that I got was the full game. So there you have it. They have sent out new codes. They asked you not traditional game media. This was done with the caveats that they couldn't post any guides or full walkthroughs. It was on entirely different servers. Carried over. The embargo is set to live on December 6th. Sometimes the people relaying the information, the agencies that are working with the developer publisher and sharing information and dealing with all the dealing with it, it's not possible. Sometimes somebody just doesn't know everything, or they get control and they don't know. That aside, people are just upset with the fact that anybody is playing the game prior to the release. Why? Well, there's a few very particular reasons. For starters, people just have an issue with sexual life in general. Mainly, besides people who just don't like sexual life for a variety of reasons, many of which I think are justified. They don't have a
here's the thing. Remember what I told you guys about how you build 100 bridges and you suck one dick? You're not a bridge builder, you're a dick sucker. The problem with that extra life is they suck 100 dicks and they only build one bridge. That's the reality. So a lot of people don't like it. Right against the guy on the channel, but I understand why some people don't like him for the embedded that he does for some of where they're getting their guide information. So you can't do that anymore. Whatever. He's not what many consider traditional game media because they do run and read whatever you think of them to get quality. If you have a wiki with guide information, and even if you're like they have already started populating their wiki with info on suppliers during the review, it is not secure that because they put it there. They were creating guides and walkthroughs for the game, and PoE explicitly said the review copy was not for that purpose. They broke the embargo regardless of the video upload. You just read what they say. Be surprised if they have at least got that process going. I think their videos are I like their video too. They do have a video on PoE too. They're at least going to start filling out that information. Embargoed for week after launch. The stipulation. Let's read this. They are not allowed to produce. Produce is not so in the process of creating something and putting it on the internet, there are usually 2 or 3 steps. There's production, editing, and publishing. So just because they didn't take the first step doesn't mean that they violated it by producing it in the first place. That's just, again, that's what words are. Now I kind of disagree with this point. If you produce something, you make it.
Very well.
There is no way that you can define production as not making something. You just read what the dictionary says. It's plain English. After launch,
specifically the hardcore sweats of the Super Blasters, they basically had the whole game figured out.
You played a video game and everybody was starting off at the same top page and you can things once you put together. Whereas now it's like as soon as the game gets released, you have people with already like betas or some sort of like internal copy. So like you already know how to beat the game like the moment the game gets released. And like you saw this happen, but like I feel like it's not really a big issue. I actually don't think it's a big problem because you can solve, like it's a problem that you can solve yourself. The only time where it's actually a big issue is when either the game is designed around having to use certain types of builds, or it's a multiplayer game and metas are defined around it. Those are the 2 points where it's actually a problem. The whole point of an ARPG, in my opinion, is figuring out the game and making cool builds. Well, I think that also, I think that you can play it in a number of different ways.
People who aren't YouTubers or guide makers also have a chance to come up with some of those great builds. I guess people who find value in that, so that's something that gets taken away when people have access to the game 2 to 3 weeks prior to launch. And especially
I would argue that it doesn't. I would argue that you take it away from yourself when you choose to play and you choose to look at guides. Like, I played Dragon's Dogma 1, and the only time that I looked at a guide was I couldn't figure out how to summon the Griffin. I thought it was like a goblin corpse. I didn't know that. So, other than that, I didn't play it with any guides at all, and I had a phenomenal, tremendous time. And I did the same thing with Metaphor as well. The first time that I looked something up is I didn't know, like, if it was a bug, why a certain block was taken down. So yeah, that's the way I look up guides to understand how mechanics work. I think that the more punishing a game is, the more the game will encourage players to do pre-research. And that's why I think that it's really important for games to not be so punishing that they cause players to take the fun out of the game in order to avoid being punished by it.
People who are the type that are going to be figuring all this stuff out. So yeah, the concern is more so that projects like running a wiki and posting guides isn't quite the same as, again, like an IGN or a YouTube. I will say, though, at the same time,
I know a lot of guys in actual POEM. I don't know that, but I would assume that they probably did get early access to PoE 2, and they probably just didn't use it this way. No? They didn't. So maybe they didn't. I don't know. Someone's probably. Yeah, like, I would assume that they did.
Concerned. I really don't think it's an actual issue. Like, in particular, in my eyes, is way closer to traditional games media than it is to the hardcore ARPG enthusiasts. And what I mean specifically is trying to under zero guys the ideal thing to be the solution to whatever problem is in the game.
Right? It's not really a guide innovator. Like, he's probably not making guides. He'll probably maybe take a guide that somebody else is doing and then make a video on how to do it better, or at least like create his own video about it, but he's probably not innovating. I think that collectively the PoE community is going to hate them forever. think it's going to be like one of those, like, oh, does everybody remember when they did this one stupid thing? And everybody is going to keep bringing this up forever. And I think, by the way, deserved.
This video, right?
But truthfully, yeah, like all of because this is gonna be like me being biased, maybe because like I have friends that are part of it. I think Maxwell is the best resource. I've been saying this since also. It's the best gaming resource guide website.